Welcome back. You're looking live at Capitol Hill, where in just a few hours, IRS whistleblowers, two of them, will expose what they call a politically biased investigation into Hunter Biden. We're also going to learn the identity of whistleblower X, a veteran FBI agent and a Democrat who says the president's son should be facing felony charges. Here with a preview, GOP Congressman Jim Jordan, Chairman, and Byron Donalds. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. First off to you, Congressman Jordan, what is bringing the second whistleblower forward? What convinced them to shed their anonymity?
Yeah, I think in some ways it's just the retribution they face. You know, they've been kicked off the case. Mr. Shapley was not allowed to be on this task force that he was selected to be on. And understand, these are the go-to guys. This is the A-team when it comes to international tax fraud cases. They have over 10 years experience, each of them. They've had outstanding reviews on every performance evaluation. These were the guys, and they have come forward and said it. And by the way, 2 days ago, their story, their testimony was backed up by an FBI agent who came forward and was interviewed by the committee and said what these two individuals have said is entirely right on target. So I think this is quickly becoming, Brian, who are you going to believe? You're going to believe the Biden-Garland Justice Department that said parents were terrorists, that Catholics were extremists, that censored people according to the federal court in Louisiana and have changed their story numerous times on this issue? Or are you going to believe Shapley and the other whistleblower who've now been confirmed by an FBI agent who testified Monday to the committee?
Congressman, what do you think we're going to hear today that's going to shock people? Jordan?
I think one of the things. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Congressman Donalds.
I think one of the things that are going to come out today is the fact that in the IRS's investigation, the amount of money, the number of countries, the number of companies actually eerily matches what the Oversight Committee has been able to uncover over the last several months. So this is key for the American people. If the investigative committee, that is the A-team, that does this with respect to international tax evasion and tax evasion, if they're coming out with the same numbers that the Oversight Committee is coming out with, then we know we have the facts. And Joe Biden, Hunter Biden have been lying to the American people for years over this stuff. And I stress years. That's going to be a big one. And so people need to really take a look at why did the Department of Justice slow walk and eventually end these investigations? Were they politically motivated? I believe they certainly were, but that's going to be laid out in front of the American people because the facts are going to be very clear in this instance.
Well, this is what they're going to say, Congressman Jordan. They're going to say, well, the problem is every investigator thinks they got a great case and every prosecutor's got to decide. That's why David Weiss did not move forward, because the case is not nearly as strong as an investigator has, generically, investigator has. What are you going to say to that?
Well, they also, early in this case, and actually throughout the case, both whistleblowers' testimony was the prosecutor said, yes, this makes sense. Yes, we should get this search warrant. Yes, we should interview these witnesses. They were full go. Yes, we have probable cause. Yes, we should move forward. And then suddenly it changes near the end. That's the key thing. All along, the investigators and the prosecutors agreed. And then what changed? Did we get close to an election? I mean, what changed here? So that, I think, is the key issue. And then you have examples that the whistleblowers give where, like, the prosecutors are tipping off the defense counsel, hey, we may want to look at this. We got a search warrant coming for the storage unit. That never happens. That never happens. They said this has never happened in all their years. So those are the things I think stand out. And again, they were consistent. They were in agreement early on, and then something changed. I think it's discussions that took place at Main Justice, which David Weiss has told us. He had discussions with people at the Justice Department. I think that's what changed late in the investigation.
Congressman, he does not profile this second whistleblower as a typical Republican because he's a Democrat. He's gay, married to a guy with never been a whistleblower before. Either has Shapley ever been a whistleblower before. The question is, how much money are we talking about, let alone taxes that should be paid in this money, and where is this money?
We are well in excess of $20 million. My last count is we're over $30 million, and there's still more information that we are uncovering. The second piece of this is where do I think the money is now? Oh, I think that money is spent. I think that money is long gone. That money has been used for the Biden family and Joe Biden to luxuriate based on the fact that Joe Biden has been in a power position in our politics for 50 years. So he can run around and say, oh, he doesn't know anything. That is a lie. That is simply not true. He knows what's going on. So does his brother, and so does
Right.
his son. And they were doing this because the only person in his family with a real job was Joe Biden, and they were trying to benefit from his access. That is public corruption. That is wrong. And that's why I wholeheartedly believe when we get to the bottom of all of this, finding these money flows, that is an impeachable offense.
Congressman Jordan, we know Tony Bobolinsky told you this whole thing 2 years ago, and we know that Devin Archer knows it was there.
Yeah.
So Devin Archer's coming out next week, we understand. When do you bring in the business people along with the whistleblowers and finish this story?
Yeah, Chairman Comer's been trying to get him in for a deposition. We hope it happens sometime soon. It's been rescheduled numerous times. So we'll continue to press and get the facts for the American people. But I think Byron said it. The fundamental question here is, what was the service they were providing? What were they doing? 20 different companies, 9 different Biden families getting paid for what? What did they do? What value did they add? And no one can answer that fundamental question. And then you couple that with who you're going to believe. The Justice Department that's engaged in all the things we talked about are these 2 whistleblowers who I think testimony has not changed and credibility is just frankly unimpeachable. That's what this comes down to.
Yeah, well, we'll see, and we'll see what the Democratic narrative is, because I look forward to seeing them question the integrity of these 2 investigators. And the next thing you got to do, Byron, is get David Weiss. When are we going to see David Weiss?
Oh, listen, I think David Weiss will probably be something for Jim's committee in Judiciary. I will be watching with bated breath, because I truly believe that Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice are simply not telling the truth in this matter. And one of the other questions I have is, what does the White House counsel know? And when were they advised about all this stuff? And when was Joe Biden briefed on this now as president of the United States? Because that's going to be very key in a lot of this as well.
I just don't know why William Barr didn't bring some of this forward. Did it ever get up to his level? Congressman Jordan, we look forward to seeing everything today. Byron Donalds, thanks so much.
You bet. Thank you.
And one of those guys worked out already. I'll let you vote privately on who you think did.